Hey everybody, Nitzan Mosery here, the Traveling Investor, and welcome to another show, another session of the Traveling Investor live show where you learn how to master your mind, body, and wallet, right? We talk about success principles and philosophies. We talk about how to go from where you are now to where you want to be, and it doesn't make a difference what industry you're in, what where you come from, the color of your skin, the color of your eyes. Who cares? the it doesn't even make a difference if you're a college graduate or not. Entrepreneurship is there to be had for everyone, and we're going to talk about, and this show we talk about how to grab that entrepreneurial spirit, how to go out there and make a change for yourself and for your family so that you can live life on your terms. But before we go any further, I want to thank our sponsors, Cornerstone Investment Partners. If you're looking to diversify your portfolio and get into passive income streams, Cornerstone Investment Partners is the way for you to go. They deal in multifamily value add properties all around the country, apartment complexes. I want to thank also Commercial Realty Partners. They are your one-stop shop for anything commercial, whether it's self-storage, office buildings, multifamily, you name it. They do everything from brokerage to development to managing assets as well during a construction period. And thanks to Jade Property Management, Jade PMC, they're your property management company. Not only will they take care of your property and of your residents, but they will also take care of your investors and any back office that you've got going on. They provide monthly, quarterly, and annual reporting, on-site visits. They work with you to project out your pro formas and make sure that you hit all that they hit all the KPIs for their owners. Jade Property Management, great companies all and around. And I want to thank them for being sponsors of our show. And also, if you're listening in, do me a favor, go to YouTube and check out the Traveling Investor YouTube page. We've got tons of information on how to create the life of your dreams, whether it be in real estate or anything else, because goal setting is goal setting. Creating your team and building your team, finding a niche, having the right mindset, right? Having the passion and desire to go out and to overcome any obstacle that is in your way. And if you go on my TikTok channel as well, yeah, I'm on TikTok. I'm doing a series now of Think and Grow Rich, where I pick out different specific parts of the 13 principles that Napoleon Hill talks about on how to think and grow rich, because it is all a mental game. That's where it starts. It's mental. It's all inside your head. What is going on in between those ears will either make you or break you. And a lot of people say, well, I have such a great positive attitude, a great positive mindset. I'm focused. I go out and I do things. I do what I'm supposed to do. I set my goals. I say all my things, all my affirmations in the morning and in the evening, and then I'm still not where I want to be. Well, that is probably because there is some underlying issue, something in your subconscious, in our subconscious, that we haven't dealt with yet, that is keeping us from moving forward, from truly becoming successful. And until we pinpoint that one little tiny dot, and that's what it is, it's a tiny dot. Once we pinpoint that tiny dot and we're able to make a change in our life and in who we are and in our mind, then everything changes. Then it's a domino effect. But it's that one little dot. Now, we may have several little dots. We may have many little dots, or may have, some people just have that one thing. But we all have the ability to do what it takes. We just have to go down deep inside our psyche and into our past and look at our childhood and see what happened in our childhood that caused or that created these walls. What was it that happened? What incident? It could have been anything where a parent looked at you, one of your parents, and said something. Oh, don't be so silly, or don't be so stupid, or stop acting this way, or what's wrong with you? Whatever it is. Now, parents, we can't beat ourselves over the heads saying that we ruined our child's lives. We do the best that we can as parents with what we have. Right? We do the best that we can. We have our issues that we were growing up with, and a lot of times they come out in our strongest, deepest relationships, and we have to learn how to deal with it. Best way to deal with it is by breathing. If you get into a situation, if a child, a parent, a friend, a spouse, a business colleague ruffles your feathers, really gets you in a bind and in a twist, before responding, before sending out that email, before sending out that text, before doing anything, do me a favor, please. Take a step back. If you literally and physically have to take a step back to make that shift in your mind so that you can breathe deeply for a few seconds and calm yourself, because that's all it takes is a few seconds of a deep breath, taking a physical or literal step back and saying, okay, how do I want to handle this situation? What is really going on here? And then proceed from there, because if we do so many knee-jerk reactions, we're never going to get anywhere. We're actually going to go backwards, because we will have then guilt and we will have all these bad thoughts. Why did I do this? Excuse me. Why did I do that? Why did I act the way I did? Why did I say that? Darn, I shouldn't have sent that email out. Shit. Why did I send that freaking text message? What the fuck? What is wrong with me? You know, and I'm just going to be open and with everybody here, because this is how we grow. It happened to me a few days ago. I went off with my daughter. We had an issue. I lost it. Instead of doing what I practice, instead of doing what I preach and what I teach, but I also practice this. Now, of course, we're not human, so sometimes things change. However, in that moment, I could have done it better. I could have taken a step back. I could have taken a breath. I could have walked away. And then what happened happened. Things were said. Feelings were hurt. Guilt came on. And for what? I could have handled it better. That was a growing opportunity for me. It was an opportunity for me to show my daughter how to behave, how to be the man, how to behave, or how to react or act in a certain situation. I failed that situation. I failed. Now, some people in life, when they fail, what do? They turn tail and they run. Oh, and by the way, if you have any questions, if you want to make a comment, do me a favor. Just post a comment. Let me know where you're listening in from. I love to hear and interact with my listeners and my travelers all around the world. So a lot of people see failure as the end all be all. We think that, well, if I failed, I must be a failure. Well, no, you know what? We are not born superstars. We're born innocent with all possibilities existing. And then we're brought up with the parents that were brought up and the siblings that were brought up in the neighborhood and the area and the mindset and the outlook and everything. So failure is just a step towards success. You cannot be successful if you don't have failure. So I look at what happened with myself and my daughter the other day, and I look at it as a serious learning experience for both of us, but mainly for me. Because now I'm going to be more in the moment And in the present, in the now, whenever I'm dealing with them or whenever I go about my day, I will be in the present moment as much as possible. Again, we're human. I'm not Buddha. I'm not a bodhisattva. I'm Nitzan Mosri, the traveling investor. So look at failure as something positive. Look at failure and going, okay, well, I figured out what doesn't work. Now I can move on and figure out what does work. But we grow up with this mindset, things that happen to us, and we have to overcome them. We fail. We have these feelings of guilt. But if we're in the present moment and we're doing things and we're moving towards our perceived destination, for us to be successful, we have to be in the present. We have to be in the here and now, because that's how the universe works. That's the laws of the universe, right? The laws of the universe, one of the laws say what you focus on becomes reality. So if you're focusing on the guilt and on the failure, that's what you're going to have. But if you're looking at that guilt and you're looking at that failure and you're taking it for what it is and you're learning from it and you're moving ahead, but you're focusing on the positive aspects of every situation and you're focusing on the positive end outcome goal, that's what you're going to have. That's what you're going to see more of. Whatever you focus on is what you focus on. It's that simple. I'll give you an example. You ever ride on the street on the highway and in between the white stripes, the choppy white stripes, there are the reflectors, right? And when you go over them, you hear dug, 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 you hear your tires running over it. Try changing lanes and focus on those reflectors. You're going to hit every reflector. Now, when you're driving, obviously, I want you to be safe, right? But when you're driving, try to cross the lane. When you're crossing a lane, cross the lane and say to yourself, I don't want to hit the reflector. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to hit the reflector because that's what you're focusing on. Even in the negative, reflector. Excuse me. Now, when you're changing lanes, say to yourself, you can say it out loud if you're in your car, say, focus on the white stripes. I'm focusing on the white stripes. And look what's going to happen. More so than none, you're going to be able, if you're continuing in the same speed, you'll be able to cross over without hitting the reflectors. But if you say, I'm going to cross over, I don't want to hit the reflectors, you're still going to hit it because the mind doesn't understand between negative and positive. All it hears is reflectors. And I'll share with you another one. I like to ski. And this is also for mountain bikers. When you're going down a mountain, you're not looking again, oh shit, I can't hit that. Oh shit, I can't hit that. You're looking to where you need to go. This is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. This is where I need to go. Okay, I'm going to take that jump. I'm going to land over there. And that's where I'm going. That's what you focus on. You don't focus on the things that you don't want to hit because then you'll hit them. And in skiing, it's the same way. When you're doing downhill racing or whatnot, or if you like to go into the woods and ski in the woods, if you're going in between the trees and you say, okay, don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree, you're going to hit a tree. But if you're going in between those trees and you're going, where's the path? Here's the path. There's the path. Here's the path. Where's the path? Focus on the path. You're going to end up scot-free without hitting any trees because whatever you focus on is what you focus on. So be sure to focus on the right things. Now, again, it goes back to when we were a child, right? We think that we're focusing on the right things. We think we're doing everything, but there's something that is stopping us. You have to understand where it's coming from. And there are all these different situations that we bring from our childhood that if you go to YouTube, I have a huge video talking just about the different situations that happened to us when we were children that we bring into our lives today, and we behave a certain way to get the same reaction from people as we did when we were children. I'll give you an example. Let's say when you were a child, your parents were too busy for you. Your father worked 2 jobs, your mother worked a job, or not even that, your mom stayed home and your dad worked and he was, or your mom worked, your dad stayed, whatever it is, I don't care, right? But your parents would come home from work, you'd come home from school, you're by yourself. You leave in the morning, you're by yourself, right? Once you're old enough, because they're out working, they're doing what they're doing. They come home, they sit down for dinner, and they get back to work, and they get back to cleaning the house and preparing and doing this, and you're left by yourself. It doesn't mean that your parents don't it doesn't mean that your parents don't love you. They love you. They just showed their love in a certain way, and they had to do things in a certain way that resulted in you thinking that your parents never had time for you and that you weren't worthy of their love. So what would you do? You would go and you sit on the couch by yourself, and you'd go into your room by yourself, and you would just be withdrawn. Take that 20, 30 years later, and now you're with someone. You're with someone who shows you the same energy or gives you the same energy that your parents did, that makes you feel the same way. Unloved, not important. The person most important to you and closest to you doesn't have time for you. So again, as an adult, what do? You come home from work, you grab your fluffy robe, you go sit on the couch with a tub of ice cream, and you start eating, and you're moving yourself away from your partner. You're actually moving away from your partner. Your partner comes home from work, wants to sit with you, hang out with you, but you retreat into yourself because you're saying, why would my partner want to be with me or spend time with me or love me? I'm not lovable. I'm not important. Why? So you start acting a certain way, and then your spouse or your partner starts behaving in a way that says, well, yeah, shit. If you're not going to talk to me or whatnot, I'm just going to go and hang out with my friends. So now in your mind, your husband or your spouse or your partner or your wife, whatever it is now going out to hang out with their friends. And in your mind, you're saying, I knew it all along. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of their time. I'm not worthy of their love. I'm not important. Do you see how something that happened in your childhood affects your relationship when you're an adult? And these are all movies that are playing in our head. So one of the best ways to do that is when you're catching yourself in that mode, you can say, stop the movie. Let's hit pause on the button. Let's hit the pause button. What we're going to do now is we're going to evaluate why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, where it comes from. Am I important? Yes, I'm very important. Am I lovable? I think I'm lovable. What's not to like? Should my spouse spend time with me? Absolutely. Does my spouse want to spend time with me? Well, let me see. They came home from work. They sat down on the sofa. They talked to me. I wasn't really in the mood. Then they said, okay, they got up and they left. So maybe it was the way I interacted with my spouse that made them behave that certain way. So it does take analysis. It does take critical analysis of behavior. But first, the awareness has to come in. First, the awareness. What's the word here? Think, right? First, we got to think about what's going on in our lives. We have to become aware of the situations that we're in. So once you can go back and understand that this situation happened and this is how it made me feel, and since then I feel that way, does that way of thinking help me achieve the goals in my life? Does it help me with who I am today? And if the answer is no, now you can get rid of it. Now you can change the habit. How? Every time you feel unimportant, go up to your spouse or partner and say, hey, I'm feeling a little unimportant right now. Am I important to you? Simple. Or just changing your mind. I am important. I'm important. I am important. And once you start saying it long enough, your subconscious starts to believe it. It's a rewiring of the subconscious mind, and it takes time to do it. So don't think that after one day of doing it, you should be all better. because you've been living this way for years, decades probably, and now you want to shift into another way of being. So it's going to take some time. Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. That's where all the fun and excitement and stress and anguish and life sits, is at the journey, in the journey. So enjoy that journey of change. We are able to be aware of this change, of this journey, and to appreciate it. So do so. And once you start making these changes, like I said earlier, it's a domino effect. It makes a change and it starts rippling. You see ripples in your life and changes, and it is unfucking believable. Unfucking believable. So go out there and figure out what that tiny dot is that is stopping you from massive success, because it's not failure. Because if you let failure stop you, then you're just like everybody else who started and stopped, right? I love the saying, we didn't come this far to just come this far. I came this far to go way further ahead than I am. I'm not going to stop now. I've spent too much time, too much effort, too much heartache, struggle, all of that to become who I am. I'm not going to stop now. And that's the billionaire mindset, not the millionaire mindset. We're looking at the billionaire mindset. I've come this far, not to just come this far and stop. So if you started something and you had a failure, don't stop. You've come this far not to stop. You've come this far to continue. You've come this far to be successful. Okay? And once you realize that, and then you have your goals in place, right? You know, my GPA system, you got to have your goals, you got to have passion, and then you got to take action. GPA, you got to set your goals. Goals, you know, what do we mean by goals? Well, okay, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to achieve. It's not rocket science, and it doesn't have to be rocket science, but you do have to write it down. I suggest writing it down in blue ink, making it time specific. In 6 months from now on this date, this is what I'm going to have. And then you just run towards that goal. Just run towards that goal. I like to equate it to a soccer match. You have the ball, right? The ball is constantly moving, right? This is us moving down the field, right? Trying to get into the goal, into the soccer net, right? Into the goal. And so you have one team who's got the ball and they move, right? We're the team. Doesn't matter that there's multiple players, but think about it this way. The ball is moving in one direction and you're going towards the goal and you're like, yes, I can see the goal in sight. Oh my God. And then something happens, like a player from the other team, a challenge, an obstacle, a failure comes, and the ball is kicked now back all the way to the other end. Now you got to run with your team all the way back to the beginning, grab the ball, all in the while that challenge, that obstacle that kicked it all the way there is still punting at it. And you've got to be really good to grab that ball away, figure out how to move away from all those challenges and obstacles that are keeping you downfield, and take that ball and run it all the way to the goal and put the ball in the net. That's how goal setting is. That's how entrepreneurship is. You set your goals. You're going to move back 10 steps. You're going to move forward 3 steps. You might move right 1 step, left 2 steps. It sounds like a dance, right? But that's what it is. The key to success, and I'm going to lay it out here now, after reading all of these books, and I have libraries full of these books, audiobooks as well. The key to success is one word, and everything follows that. It's one word: consistency. Consistency. You say, well, we need to find money. for our real estate deals. Okay, well, if you're consistently out there networking, building relationships, you will do that. Well, we need to find properties. So, well, if you're out there talking to brokers and doing your mailings and doing all that, and you're consistent and you have your systems down in place and you're consistent every single month, another mailing goes out, this type of mailing, that type of, and you've got your system where it's automatic, boom, you'll be successful. Well, I didn't hit my goal. Well, continue writing new goals. Continue to figure out what didn't work. Continue to figure out what did work. Pour gasoline on what worked and try to figure out new ways of working. But if you stop, if you quit, you'll never win. So consistency. Well, I kept hearing no. Well, persistence beats resistance. Persistence is another word for consistency. To be consistent is to continue to move on, to doing it over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't mean that you should be doing the same thing over and over again, because if what you're doing doesn't work, you need to be able to shift, pivot, adjust, move, recalculate, right? But you don't stop. Consistency, to be consistent, always doing it. Always be marketing, always be networking, always be reaching out to investors, always be reaching out to your network, always be growing, be reading, be writing, be analyzing, everything. Do it consistently. That's how you know that you will be successful. That is the only way to success. Okay? You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent with everything. You got to be consistent with the way you think and what you think and the thoughts that you think, because consistency, that's all. It's all about your mind. And if you're not consistent with what you're thinking and what you're putting in your mind and what you're listening to and the people that you're listening to, guess what? You're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. All right. So we've been talking for the last 28 minutes. I had a guest. We were going to talk about that as well. We were going to talk about failure. We were going to talk about how to keep yourself on track, which we talked about. You got to have your goals. You got to have your passion, your why. You got to figure out what your why is. I'm going to do a video on how to find your why. And it's not just sitting around. I do a lot of videos where I say, ask a question, visualize yourself doing this. A lot of people have a hard time doing that. So I'm going to put out another video, and it's going to be on my YouTube channel. So check it out. A visual way on how to create or how to find out your why, right? You got to figure out what you like to do. You got to figure out what brings you money and what you like to do that'll bring you money, and so forth and so on. And it's a process, and I'll go over that as well. So tune in next week, same time, possibly different location. All right, my friends, it's been awesome. Have a great week. And remember, think and grow rich, because it's all about you and thinking and growing and understanding to become successful. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this session of the Traveling Investor Live Q&A. If you like the show, do me a favor, or if you're listening in, do me a favor, go to YouTube, go to Spotify. We're on the different podcast formats, and listen in, download, share, comment. Please help us out. My goal is to reach 1 billion people and to help 1 billion people achieve success. And I need your help to do it by spreading the word, by spreading out who I am and what we can do for people and how we can help them. Okay. And if you know of anybody who's out there who's in the military, who's refusing to take the vaccine and they are going to get discharged, please bring them my way. I will coach them for free. Okay. I will coach them for free, because I don't think that that's a cool thing that the government is doing by making them get a discharge for not wanting to take a vaccine. This is America, the land of the free, and the government works for us. Always remember that, and please never forget. I'm Nitzan Mosery, the Traveling Investor. I'll see you next week somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Take care.